to the 2015 commencement celebration for Aspen Valley High School
and Academy Online High School.
My name is Gabrielle Fund.
And my name is Lorraine Yinger.
Please stand, remove your hats, and join us in reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We would like to introduce Mr. George Stone, Principal of Aspen Valley High School.
It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Aspen Valley and Academy Online's 2015 commencement. Congratulations to you, our seniors. I would like to open the ceremony today with a story that I believe best characterizes our graduating class of 2015. One evening, an elderly Cherokee brave told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." We've all marveled as each of you have progressed on your journey, sometimes feeding one wolf, sometimes feeding the other. We've played roles in each other's lives as this battle is played out. We have tried to help each other figure out how to become our best selves. Sometimes we've struggled, but mostly we've succeeded. I look at your faces and the faces of your classmates among the rest of the student body, and I can think of a time easily when each and every one of you was there to support a classmate in need. That's how it is here at Aspen Valley. We're family. And families can be messy, but in the end, families stand together, as you do today. To our graduates, I want to say thank you. We're proud of what you are making of yourselves, and we are grateful for what you have contributed to Aspen Valley during your time here. Joining us today in support of our graduates are the District 20 Board of Education, representatives from District 20 Education, Mr. Glenn Strebe representing the District 20 Education Foundation, and the staff of Aspen Valley. I would also like to recognize and welcome District 20 Academy Online High School, Mr. Nathan Gorsh, and his 2015 graduates who are joining us on this special day. Finally, let's recognize the people without whom we would not be here today to celebrate you. Would the parents of our graduates please stand and be recognized? And now the wonderful staff of Aspen Valley High School and Academy Online High School. Please hold your applause until the entire staff has been introduced. And please stand when I call your name. Mr. Ryan Bailey, Science, Stuco, and PE. Mrs. Lisa Bejarano, Mathematics and Programming. Mrs. Heather Chavez, Science. Mrs. Kelly Daniel, Foreign Language and Business. Mrs. Kathy Dearden, Social Worker. Mrs. Kathy Emice Beers, School Psychologist. Mr. Eugene Fisher, Social Studies. Mrs. Joe Fletcher, Administrative Assistant and Registrar. Mr. Peter Hamlin, Language Arts, Social Studies, and Dean. Mrs. Jennifer Horn, Counseling Intern. Mrs. Diane Knopp, School and Counselor Secretary. Mr. Craig Lown, Mathematics. Ms. Lil Maylers, Counselor. Ms. Kristen Mang, Language Arts and Social Studies. Ms. Megan McCormick, Language Arts and Social Studies. Ms. Catherine Moore, Building Manager and Security. Ms. Susie Padilla, Librarian and Bookkeeper. Mr. Jeff Pittman, Technology. Mrs. Cassandra Reese, School Nurse. Mr. Gary Savorn, Counselor. Mrs. Jenny Stevenson, Language Arts, Drama, and Literacy. Mrs. Karen Wasserman, SPED, RTI, Tag, Art, Photography, and Yearbook. I would also like to welcome our friends from Academy Online High School. Mr. Nathan Gorsch, Principal. Mrs. Donna Tottenhagen, Principal Secretary. Mrs. Martha Hinson, Counselor. And Ms. Rhonda Spradling, Curriculum Development Coordinator. Last but not least, for the, I think, 10th or 11th year in a row, my mom's come all the way out from Wisconsin. Mrs. Judy Stone, where are you at, Mom? It's my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Mark Hatchell, Superintendent of Academy School District 20. Dr. Hatchell began his career as an educator 28 years ago as a student teacher at Air Academy High School. He graduated from Colorado State University in 1982, where he earned his bachelor's degree in business administration. He earned his master's degree from CSU in 1985. Dr. Hatchell did his doctoral studies at the University of Colorado and earned his doctoral degree in 1989. We are truly fortunate to have a leader so deeply committed to the success of all students in District 20. Dr. Hatchell.
Thank you. And let me first say on behalf of my bosses, the Academy 20 Board of Education, congratulations to the classes of 2015. Today is a special event, a passage in a person's life. You've been trailblazers. You have taken a non-traditional route. You have gone your own way, and you have reached the end of your Academy District 20 time. We are proud of each and every one of you, and we want to wish you the very best for your future. I've had the opportunities many times this year to go to Aspen Valley and to Academy Online. I can't tell you how impressed I've been with the schools and their senior classes. Class of 2015, you have accomplished a lot. But before you leave us, I want to ask you to do three things. One, thank your parents for all they've done for you. Two, when you get a chance, thank your teachers. And three, please, during this celebration season, make wise decisions and be safe. It is now my honor to introduce the Academy 20 Board of Education, our president, Ms. Linda Van Mater. Vice President, Ms. Tracy Johnson. Treasurer, Mr. Glenn Streeb. Director, Ms. Catherine Bullock. Director, Mr. Larry Borland. And from D20 Central Administration, Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Karen Reynolds. It's now my honor to introduce the speaker, Mr. Larry Borland. Mr. Borland is the Academy Online High School Liaison and a big supporter of Aspen Valley High School. Mr. Borland grew up right here in Colorado Springs, graduated from Mitchell High School, and he's now the administrator for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Before his current job, Mr. Borland retired in June 2013 as the Chief of Security and Transportation for District 20. He was a school security chief in 3 school districts for nearly 20 years. Mr. Borland has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Southern Colorado, a Master's of Arts degree in Sociology and Criminology from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, a Master's of Public Administration from the University of Colorado, Denver. He also has 2 grown children, Connor and Caitlin, both graduates from Academy 20. Mr. Borland is a runner, a world traveler, and an outstanding leader. Mr. Borland.
Good morning, Aspen Valley High School graduates and Academy Online High School graduates. No, that wasn't rhetorical. I mean it. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. What an exciting time for you and your families and your friends. 55 years ago, John Steinbeck wrote these words in his book, Travels with Charlie. He said, "When I was very young and the urge to be someplace else was upon me, I was assured by mature people that maturity would cure this itch. When years described me as mature, the remedy prescribed was middle age. In my middle age, I was assured that greater age would calm my fever, and now that I'm old, perhaps senility will do the job. Nothing has worked. 4 hoarse blasts of a ship's whistle still raise the hair on my neck and set my feet to tapping. The sound of a jet, an engine warming up, even the clopping of shod hooves on pavement brings on the ancient shudder, the dry mouth, and the vacant eye. The hot palms and the churn of the stomach high up under the rib cage. In other words, I don't improve. I fear the disease is incurable." When the virus of restlessness begins to take possession of a wayward person, the road from here seems broad and straight and sweet. The victim must first find in himself good and sufficient reason for going. This is, to the practical person, not very difficult. He has a built-in garden of reasons to choose from. Next, he must plan his trip in time and place, choose a direction and a destination. And last, he must implement the journey. How to go, what to take, how long to stay. This part of the process is invariable and immortal. Steinbeck says, "I set it down only so teenagers will not think they invented it." While Steinbeck was talking about a physical journey, I think it applies well to the journey all of you are about to take. Let's explore his words just a little bit as you prepare to take your leave from Aspen Valley and Academy Online. Steinbeck says that the traveler must find good and sufficient reason for going. You have spent the last 4 years determining good and sufficient reason for your collective envisioned journeys. It is perhaps a curiosity fed by your teachers, parents, and friends. Perhaps it is a calling, an inexplicable reason for moving towards something you have always known you would do. Perhaps it's a need to move away from something. Or you may just be taking up an exploratory trip to find out what is out there, what the lay of the land is, what lies beyond the horizon. If this is your good and sufficient reason, don't worry. You are in good company. Christopher Columbus, Francisco Coronado, Lewis and Clark, John Glenn, Neil Armstrong. As Steinbeck says, we humans have a built-in garden of reasons for moving, for striving, for exploring. Next, he says we must plan our trip in time and place. Choose a direction and a destination. I am envious of you. I really am. My goodness, I'd love to be in your shoes. All you have to do is to choose a direction and a destination. The whole world is in front of you. You need only to choose a time to start and a place to go. The time is now. You start from here. And the direction is up to you. Now, I've had the opportunity to do some sailing. Sailors have this saying, you cannot control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. What this means is that sometimes the wind isn't blowing from exactly the right compass point to get you where you want to go in a direct way. When this happens, you have about 3 choices. You can lower your sails and drift. Okay? You can change direction and let the wind take you wherever it blows. Or you can adjust your sails and tack across the wind, sailing diagonally more or less in the direction you want to go, and then changing courses slightly and sailing on another diagonal toward your destination. Now, when you have to tack, it will certainly take you longer to reach your destination, but you may see things you didn't expect to see. Indeed, what you see could prompt you to change your destination entirely. Don't be afraid to tack during your journeys. Now Steinbeck says we must implement the journey, decide how to go, what to take, how long to stay. How will you go? What will your conveyance be? Will you go by traditional way like college or trade school? Will the military start you on your journey as it did for me? Do you have some other conveyance that will move you along? What route will you take? Will it be a traditional route? Or as Robert Frost said, shall you take the road less traveled? Will that make all the difference? This part of the process, Steinbeck says, is invariable and immortal. I think he's really saying that in the end, you must have the courage to take the first step. What to take? Your teachers and your parents have worked many years to equip you for this journey. Don't forget to pack those things. Your values, your beliefs, your relationships, you will need them. But you'll need other things. Some of these things you will collect before you go, perhaps education and training. Others you will gather along the way by experiences and some hard knocks. What will you take with you? What will you leave behind? How long to stay? How long to stay? That I cannot tell you, nor can anyone else. For as Steinbeck says, we find after years of struggle that we do not take the journey. The journey takes us. Good luck in your journey.
Thank you, Mr. Borland. At each graduation, members of the senior class are asked if any of them wish to speak. Several seniors wanted to share their thoughts with you this morning. First, I would like to introduce Mr. David Levitt.
Thank you to the audience for joining us to celebrate the class of 2015's advancement into the rest of our lives. For some of us, it was easy, but for some of us, it was hard. But in the end, we made it. The memories of high school, both good and bad, will always be embedded into our lives. Let this day be a stepping stone into the future. Let this motivate us to the forward of our lives. Each one of us sitting in our cap and gowns has a story. We're proving what it takes to succeed. To be that role model to younger ones, to see the good in education, and to have a set goal no matter what in life, because we can do anything we set our minds to. Even when I'm many years out of high school, I'll always remember me and Christopher LaRondelle chasing each other around the halls, and having Mr. Stone yelling at us from his room, saying, "David, Chris, get in the office now." To the fire alarms going off at prom, and Mr. Bailey's zoology class for bringing in chicks and letting us get that hands-on experience that none of us will ever forget. And also, most importantly, that amazing feeling at high school that will never, ever fade. Each and every one of us has shown amelioration. In case you didn't know, amelioration means the act of making something better. And we wouldn't be here today at this moment celebrating the new chapter in our lives if we hadn't improved ourselves. Steve Jobs once said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes. They are not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them, or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And then while many of them see them as crazy ones, we see geniuses. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. Yes, at Aspen Valley, we are the round pegs and the square holes. No, we are not fond of rules, and yes, you can't ignore us. But there is one thing that Aspen Valley has done, and that's ignore us. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. George Stone, the Aspen Valley staff, the students, family, friends, and the D20 Board of Education for their patience and positive insight to push us forward, because without one another for support, we wouldn't be here. And to the graduating class of 2015, we did it. Now I would like to invite my fellow best friend and my fellow senior, Christopher LaRondelle, to share his thoughts with us.
I want to thank everyone for coming to the graduation of 2015 class of Aspen Valley High School and Academy Online High School. Today is very special to the seniors of Aspen Valley. Through the drama and the weird occurrences that have been a part of our lives, we have made it. Today we have earned our diploma. I want to talk about goals today. Everyone has their own goals. It could be gaining an achievement in a video game or saving up money to buy an outfit you want. These are all goals, and once you achieve a goal, you feel successful. Standing on the stage today, I felt successful. And everyone graduating today should feel successful as well. This is the first step to beginning our careers and making a reputation for ourselves in this community. I'm proud of every single person in the class of 2015 graduating today, and I'm sure our friends and family feel the same way. We all have had our own journey, our own struggles. We've had a reason for coming to Aspen Valley High School. At Aspen, we all have a very specific bond. It's almost like we're family. We fight and argue with each other, but also care and give friendship for one another when they need it. We have created this bond that just can't be broken. We care about this school, and the school is our home. And it's time to grow up and leave home. The journey has been long and filled with ups and downs, and we pulled it together to earn our high school diploma. Who knows what the future holds for us, but we believe it's bright and filled with success. Coming together today, it seems like a dream to us, to have actually made it to graduation. Today we walk out of here as high school graduates, live life to the fullest, fellow classmates. Walk out of here with your heads high and your hearts in the right direction. Follow your dreams and do what makes you happy in life. I quote Walt Disney for this class. Walt Disney once said, "We keep moving forward, opening new doors, and doing new things, because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths." Seniors, move forward in a positive direction that will make you feel successful. Don't worry about what other people define success as. Go down a path that will bring you what you want. The last quote I have from Walt is, "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." It's time to kick it into gear and pursue what we love and what we want. Through the years, I believe Aspen Valley has changed, and it has changed a lot. And the class of 2015 has been a really big part of that change. We're leaving a legacy behind, and we sure left a good one. Next, I would like to introduce Daphne Sherman.
Thank you, Chris. Oh, God, there's a lot of people. I am not the person I was 4 years ago. Yet I am. I am not a naive, insecure 14-year-old girl. Yet I am. The only thing that has changed is my perspective, plus my height. I'm sure most of the people wearing the same outfit as I am, I feel the same way as I do. I think we're all quite shocked that here we stand at the edge of our own worlds, about to plummet into the darkness of the unknown. Ooh, shaky here. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like a toddler driving a monster truck. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm still a kid. But I am proud that I made it here. And I'd never be here if it wasn't for Aspen Valley. Aspen gave me an excellent sense of community, proactiveness, and self-confidence. I think I wouldn't be graduating if I didn't attend Aspen Valley High School. The community that Aspen offers is like no other community I've ever met. We're such a weird community of people. There's like this rainbow of personality that shimmers in this school. Coming here as a freshman, I was in Mr. Hamlin's class, English class, and I met one particularly weird person named Taryn Williamson. Taryn Williamson, she's a weirdo, but I never had a friend like Taryn. She's made me who I am today, and I cannot thank her enough for that. In high school, some of the people you meet will be your friends and your companions throughout your adult life. And I think I'll be calling Taryn my best friend for a very long time. Anyways, when each senior here leaves this graduation ceremony, it's freedom. We're all bouncing in our chairs, excuse me. We're all currently bouncing in our chairs, ready to get out of here. However, when we walk through those doors, we're being shot out into the open world. It may be freedom, but we are still tied down by our own insecurities. We truly don't know where we will be in 5 or 10 years. We say we do, but some of us want to be, surgeons or actors, Evan, but we know it may not turn out that way. Some of us may have a secret passion for plumbing, we just don't know it yet. When I was in elementary school, all I wanted to be was a world-famous dragon trainer, honest. I wanted to train dragons. That's all I pictured myself doing. But here I am, 18, and I haven't seen a dragon so far, so I think I'm gonna have to choose a different career path. The point I'm putting across is not that you won't succeed in your dreams. What I'm trying to put across is that no matter what happens in your life, you can handle it. Come what may, you can be happy. You can reach the pursuit of happiness. Some people may think, but what if I fail? Failure is a component of success. Anything can happen in your life. It's your perspective that matters. Keeping your chin up lets you see the light better. And I think that truly is what freedom is. Thank you. What would graduation be if the principal did not give a speech? Mr. Stone.
I'm getting older. I thought the first sentence of this should read for a decade, but Mr. Hamlin told me it's been 11 years. At any rate, for a long time now, I've stood before graduating classes at Aspen Valley. I've talked about how proud we all are of you. I've then gone on to talk about each student individually, sharing the lessons that each has taught us during their time at Aspen Valley. It's odd how traditions come to be, but this has become an Aspen Valley tradition, the sharing of you. You see, each of you will be receiving a diploma today for meeting the district's graduation requirements. These requirements are primarily academic, and you are to be commended for achieving them. But your journey has been about so much more than just academics. You have all become so much more than just skilled students. As you have learned and grown, so too have all of us who have been on this journey with you. Each of you, in your own way, has contributed to the creation of this wonderful community that we call Aspen Valley. More than any principal, more than any teacher, it has been you who have built this very special place. This year, I found myself thinking about that Indian story that I shared earlier, about the 2 wolves, and about how each of you truly has faced the same decision about which wolf to feed. I thought about those moments when you were at your best, when you were clearly feeding your better wolf. I want to remind each of you of those moments, and thank you for sharing them with us. Leah, it's fitting that I start with you. Like so many of our seniors, you spent a good bit of your time as a sort of anti-hero. Author Chris Jamie captured part of you when he said, "I'm often painted as the bad guy, and the artistic side of me wants to hand out the brush." But at your best, like your classmates, there was another side of you. The side that sat for hours in the hallway or library trying to help a friend through their own personal darkness. That's the part of you that I always remember and admire. Michaela, I think of your journey and I think of a quote by Aeneas Nin. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud became more painful than the risk it took to blossom. I remember when you used to be so anxious about so many things. Some days were really tough, but you always found the courage to step forward toward every challenge. And with each challenge you faced and overcame, your confidence grew. I look at you now and I see a woman so well equipped, so ready to take control of her own life. You've had great moments. I remember prom queen and the dress, which, if I remember right, will be your wedding dress someday. This was a truly glorious dress. I remember top 10, and you representing the school at top 10. I'm absolutely confident that you have many, many more best days yet to come, and that you're ready to accept them. Wyatt, sometimes I struggle to find just the right memory of a senior. I'll never forget Michaela's dress. For you, the words were easy. The words were easy: calm, supportive, compassionate, positive influence, good decision maker. The words were easy. But I just couldn't find the right story. I knew it would have something to do with Devon, but I just couldn't find the right story. Then Mrs. McCormick shared this story, and I knew it captured you perfectly. Mrs. McCormick said, "One of the sweetest moments I've seen from Wyatt is when Austin stole Devon's homophone assignment and turned it in his own. I initially gave both students zeros. Wyatt came in and asked what happened, asked what Devon had told me, and very calmly received all the information before making a very mature and moving case on Devon's behalf. I ultimately decided to award Devon credit. He found me later to thank me for reconsidering. I think that story pretty well sums up who you are and the influence you've had on this school." Toria, many of your fellow seniors don't even know you because you were a senior 2 years ago. All right? Your shining moment is right now. You sit there as a North Star for any student who has ever thought of giving up. George Eliot said, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." I will forever tell the story of the girl who came back and finished what she started. Pia, this has been a difficult year for you, full of difficult decisions, full of difficult relationships, and sometimes life's like that. But sometimes it's like, well, being a DJ at homecoming and knowing that you're the one making the people move. Sometimes it's like being a DJ for a bunch of middle school girls and knowing that they are looking up at you and wishing that they were you. You've had challenging times this year, and I know you felt alone at times. Me, I'm always going to remember how you could make people move, and I'm not just talking about music. You have this power in you. I think you're going to do a lot more of that in the future. Summer, in order to have a shining moment, we need to step into a source of light. We need to have that light to sparkle. I remember when I first heard your voice, you were down, way down at the end of the hallway. I think it was somewhere down by Fisher's room. You were sitting there, and I think maybe it was with Sarah Howell, and you were playing your guitar loud enough. That's what drew me up there. I heard the guitar. But your voice was just a whisper. Months later, you strolled into my office and sat down and said, "Can I play something for you?" And you sat there on my couch and you sang. I thought that was pretty cool. I even taped it and put it on Facebook, and all my friends were like, "God, she's good." All right? And then a few more weeks passed. And then you came in and said that you wanted to play at senior breakfast. And then you did. That's kind of like life. We take one tentative but brave step at a time and move forward toward our futures. Hannah, the Dalai Lama described what the staff at Aspen all agree is your defining quality. Dalai Lama said, "If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion." Mrs. Daniels described how you put this practice into action. Mrs. Daniels said, "In Puma, she consistently showed compassion towards all the other kids in the class, and she was always encouraging kids to do their best and always trying to help kids feel that they matter." I think that's your legacy at Aspen Valley. You supported your classmates, and you made people feel better about themselves. Kim, at your best, you're a caretaker. I could talk about Shelby, the list goes on. I could talk about so many students who you have provided with a helping hand, or a shoulder to cry on, or sometimes a kick in the butt, all right? I can probably think of 10 kids. I think that you're the sort that's always going to be like that, always shining a light into the darkness, looking for someone who needs you, and then stepping in to try to be the support that they need. It's a pretty darn good quality. It's one that we could use more of in this world. Evan, when I first wrote this, I thought I got it right, but it really might have been good for Dimitri too. Yeah, right? I watched you navigate the last 24 hours for the final drop-dead deadline to meet graduation requirements. Your college grade, we had even called home to say, "I think we need to prepare for the worst." And I called you down. And I said, "Evan, I don't know that we can do this." And then 24 hours unfolded in what I think is maybe your finest moment at Aspen Valley. But it did make me think back to the theatrical production that we did of Drama Geeks versus Zombie Cheerleaders. True story. You were acting in that. And it's nerve-wracking to get in front of a bunch of people and perform. But you radiated this poise and this confidence like you've been doing it forever. You also had really good comedic timing. But you were just calm under pressure. And that was your response when I called you down to my office. You're like, "No, this won't be, I got this." And then I think it was like the next day you came down with this giant poster you had printed of your transcript from college. It was like, "Yo." That was an accident, right? At your best, you exemplify superstar basketball player Kobe Bryant's words. "Everything negative, pressure, challenges, are opportunities for me to rise." All right, Chris, you're the one always crying. I'm going to try and get through this one without crying myself. I don't want to embarrass you in a public setting. I could have played it safe and told the story about you getting in trouble for slapping David's butt. But the story of your best moment is powerful enough that I need to tell it. I'll never forget the afternoon you sat in my office crying because you'd gotten in trouble for something with me again. This time was different, though. You weren't angry or defensive. You were just disappointed in yourself. You yelled at me through the tears that it matters. How I do, what people think about me, it all matters. And in that moment, you reminded me that all of us trip and fall down from time to time. Those moments don't tell the whole story, and they certainly don't define us. Your story is still to be written, but I think it's going to have a happy ending because the story matters to you. Who you are matters to you. David, your shining moment is like Chris's. It tugs at the heartstrings. And I think it's kind of funny, and your classmates will appreciate this, that the two biggest goofballs in the senior class have two emotional stories, because we all can remember plenty of goofy times. David, I remember a time early in the year when you came to my office to talk. A friend of yours was getting into some pretty ugly water because of bad personal choices, and you were distraught. You didn't know what to do. You had tried just being there, a shoulder to lean on. You had tried tough love, telling the truths that nobody wants to hear. You had tried getting other friends to intervene, and nothing was working. To me, that was your best moment, because in that moment I saw all the qualities that we all struggle to develop when we care about and want to help others. It was your best moment not because you had the answers, but because you cared enough to ask the questions. John, I can remember a time when many of your decisions were based around things unrelated to your goals. Often in those earlier years, you sacrificed your own wants, needs, and dreams for those of others. I think you really began to shine this year when you shifted the focus almost exclusively to yourself and the path that you are charting for yourself. I don't think it's a coincidence that this happened at the time when you had completed all of your graduation requirements and essentially were already out of high school. Author John Ortberg said, "If you want to walk on water, you've got to get out of the boat." This year, you got out of the boat, and you started taking those steps toward your future. I think that path is going to be a successful one. Jordan, country music artist Blake Shelton once said, "I want to stand for something, and it's probably something that some people will stand against." Over and over, I've watched you make the hard decisions, the ones that sometimes cost friends, but are based on integrity and simply doing what is right. Your shining moments, and there have been many of them, have been those times when you have taken a stand for your own needs, on behalf of a friend, or for the good of the school. You took those stands based not on what is popular and easy. You took them based on what is right. Pablo. Let's all just do it once. Seniors, Pablo, Pablo, Pablo. There are people like Cher, there are people that have just one name, Madonna. Now we have Pablo. If I were to take a random sample of every living person who has walked through the doors of Aspen Valley for the first time over the last 4 years, and I were to ask them, what were the first words you heard when you came into the building? I would be willing to bet my house that the answer would be, "Hi, I'm Pablo. Can I help you?" And we laugh, but you more than any student here today have been the one to make people feel welcome. I know that you're just naturally friendly and kind-hearted. I know that's just part of who you are. I'm not sure you know how much those qualities have helped shape a positive culture at Aspen Valley. You simply radiate welcome, and you shine that light on everyone you meet. Aiden, in the best of your days at Aspen Valley, I remember a young man with a very quick wit, a magnetic smile, and a generous spirit and gracious nature. I remember your shenanigans with David and Chris and all the other guys running through the halls like a pack of puppies. I believe that these are the qualities at your core. And I believe that after the struggles and challenges have passed, they will still be there, waiting patiently. Ricky, I'll never forget the first time I heard you play the piano. Up until that moment, I always saw you as this really helpful young man who had a bottomless pit of a stomach and an uncanny ability for missing breakfast club. Then one day you sat down to play the piano and you revealed yourself as this marvelously talented performer. Later, I learned that you also composed music, and I listened to a performance that felt like flowing water. In your best moments, you remind us that all of our seniors are incredibly complex, and they sometimes shine in surprising ways. Gabby, when the year began, don't cry. When the year began, this moment seemed so far away to you. There were so many mountains to climb and you had so many doubts. I think I could have filled a bathtub with your worry tears. But here's the thing. Diamonds are only formed under great pressure. Over the year, you faced every challenge. You got up every time you thought you couldn't. You cried when you had to, but you got up and kept moving. To me, your best moment was a little over a month ago when you thought that you had lost all of your critical documents when your flash drive crashed. That was a truly crushing moment. I mean, this child thought she'd lost everything. And you could have fallen apart, but you didn't. It was in that moment that I think and I hope you truly and finally realized that you have great strength. It was in that moment that I think you passed the final test. And as you move forward from this day, I hope you know that you can walk through anything. Daphne Sherman. I remember walking into Mrs. McCormick's room and asking her who left the amazing doodles on her whiteboard. Same thing with Bailey. Amazing doodles on the whiteboard. And then I remember being absolutely floored when I saw the album cover for Terran's Kingdom album. And I was told that it was your hand that created the art. And then finally, you stroll into prom with the most amazing diaphanous elf thing going on. I mean, it was ethereal. It was right down to the ears, pointed ears, all right? The light in each of us comes out in different ways. Some can talk, some can write, some can manage, some can fix, and some, like you, can create. The nice thing about the way you shine is that because it is visual and because you share it, we all get to enjoy it as well. Jonah, every year we have a student with a very special passion. This student loves schoolwork and learning so much that they intentionally turn in each and every assignment, well, about 50 to 70% complete, so that they can have the opportunity to keep learning by doing it again. I'm thinking specifically of a certain observation in Mrs. McCormick's class that I stopped in to watch. Seriously, I think your best moment is yet to come. I've come to know a young man with a kind heart and a true desire to help others. I've watched a young man who has learned to tame one wolf so that the other wolf can shine. When you talk about doing missionary work in Mexico, I hear honest conviction. I can see you doing that. Maybe not right away, but I think you will do missionary work. I believe that this is a quality that will emerge and continue to blossom throughout the rest of your life. Dimitri, Evan's twin in the last week of school. You are such a quiet, gentle presence here at Aspen that it was also hard to identify a shining moment for you until last week. Christopher Walker said, "Procrastination's like a credit card. It's a lot of fun until you get the bill." Yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's you. Tommy Hilfiger said, "The road to success is not easy to navigate, but with hard work, drive, and passion, it's possible to achieve anything." That's you too. Some people don't experience their shining moment until they are placed under a critical mass of stress. You just had yours, buddy. Congratulations. Josh Tremblay. It's not going to be what you think. Josh, I remember when we were engaged in one of our many negotiations, all right? This time it was about whether or not you could count your work for Valley View Ranch as community service or work, or both. Never mind. In an effort to untangle exactly what you had been doing, I called Mrs. Sparks, and I asked her to describe your activities. She went on and on and on about how kind and helpful and dependable you were, and how much she relied on you. As I wrote these words, I thought about your mom and about how you're always there to support her, always there when she needs you. And that's what stands out about you. It's not the sagging pants, it's not the cuss words, it's not that. What stands out about you and the way you shine is the way you take care of the people that you care about. Not what you're expecting, right? Jacob, I think it's neat that I get to end my comments with you. When I remember back years from now, your face will be attached to most of my best memories from this class. I want to summarize your legacy as advice to your classmates. First, be intelligently irreverent. I will always remember the time I was going off on Stuco because you guys had totally trashed the basement. Getting ready for prom, there was paper, it looked like my daughter's bedroom. So I was getting ready to start grumping at you guys. We were down in the basement, and you said, time out. Stone, can I explain why we don't need to do this now? I'm like, and then he says, and I'm going to use a metaphor. And you proceeded to pose this metaphorical argument with props in an absolutely unrefutable way. And I finally just said, yeah. Be intelligently irreverent. Leave a mark, but don't hurt anyone doing it. Nick Cage, enough said. But here's the final one, and I think probably the most important one. Take care of business. As we approach the end of the school year, with all of the drama and panic of scrambling to meet graduation requirements at the last minute, you were more worried about where your teacups were. You got to coast and just enjoy the final days. And that was because in spite of the irreverence, in spite of the Nick Caginess, you took care of your business and met your responsibilities. And that might be your most important legacy. Class of 2015, as you move forward following this day, be intelligently irreverent. Be a little bit Nick Cagey. But take care of your business. Thank you very much.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Nathan Gorsh, Principal of Academy Online High School. I've known Mr. Gorsh a number of years across 2 different school districts, and I'll long remember him this year telling me that his virtual football team had just gone undefeated at Academy Online. Mr. Gorsh is in his first year as the principal of Academy Online High School after serving as assistant principal for 11 years, with the last 4 years being at Pine Creek High School. He graduated from Lincoln Christian College with a bachelor's degree in Christian education and Illinois State University, where he earned his bachelor's degree in history. He earned his master's degree in curriculum instruction from Colorado Christian University. Mr. Gorsh now leads one of the best online schools in the state. The school has grown to where it now serves 384 students with 27 staff members. And we have 10 graduating seniors, and 7 of them are here today. Graduates, congratulations. Mr. Gorsh is not resting on his laurels. He is also an innovative leader and has his eye on the future of education. Next fall, Academy Online will be piloting an exciting blended program for 9th grade students under his leadership. Academy Online High School Principal, Mr. Nathan Gorsch.
Thank you, and congratulations, graduates. Take a special moment, Kennedy, Sarah, Brandon, Megan, Hannah, Christina, and Lorraine. Very special group, and we're very proud of you. Congratulations. As you may already know, the mascot for Academy Online High School is the Mountaineer. While we don't have sports teams other than our virtual football team, or other activities to proudly display the mascot, we do use it to frame some of our honors and awards. As I thought about my remarks today for graduation, I kept coming back to the idea of a mountaineer and ways that we could apply the ideas. Since I've only climbed one 14er in my life and thought I was going to die, I'm not exactly qualified to speak as a mountaineer. So I did what any good online student does, and I took your example, students. I Googled it. What I found was good advice, not only for climbing a mountain, but also advice that I believe serves us all well to remember. So in honor of David Letterman's pending retirement, for those of you under 25, he was kind of Jimmy Fallon before Jimmy Fallon, I present to you the top 10 list of lessons that we can learn from a mountaineer. Number 10, choose the right mountain to climb. While this may seem fairly simple and straightforward, it really is the most important part of the process. Because you see, you don't want to pick a mountain that's too hard or too easy, because that'll take away some of the joy from the journey. Pick a mountain with just enough challenge to keep you engaged, but not one beyond your reach. It's often helpful to climb an easier mountain before you tackle a tougher one. That way you gain the experience and confidence to move on. Number 9, train, train, train. There's no substitute for hard work. Anything worth accomplishing will take hard work, determination, and discipline. There's very few people who are able to wake up one morning and just decide to climb a mountain, and we all hate those people. But instead, it's a long-term goal that you work towards. Thomas Edison was quoted as saying that opportunity is often missed by people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. Number 8, bring the right tools. You know, some mountains are easier to climb and they only require a water bottle and a good pair of shoes, but others require an ice axe, ladders, oxygen apparatus. Hopefully each of you have been given a set of tools to use on your climb. Communication skills, relational skills, problem-solving skills. Use them at the appropriate time and they'll make your climb so much easier. Number 7, use good manners and always give the right of way to those going up. You know, there are social rules on a mountain, expectations for how climbers will conduct themselves. One of the most important is to always give the right of way to the person who's going up and to those who are moving at a quicker pace. You know, if we're honest, sometimes our human nature is to try to stay in those people's way, to try to block them from passing you. But just remember, there will probably be a time when you're the one moving faster and you won't want any impediments in your way. Number 6, go at your own pace and don't be afraid to take a break. If you're climbing in a group, there's going to be some people that go ahead, some that fall behind. The temptation is to try to all stay together, but that's tough on a group climb. Remember, unless you're doing the Pikes Peak ascent, the goal is not to get to the top as fast as you can. The goal is to get to the top. And a break can often give you just what you need to continue the climb instead of quitting halfway through. Number 5, be willing to change your plan. You know, every year hundreds of people around the world die or are seriously injured during a climb, but oftentimes there were warning signs that were ignored. They knew that there was potential danger on the way, and they refused to heed that warning. Often, if they would have been willing to change the route or the day of the summit, they would have survived. Number 4, rely on others who have knowledge of the mountain. If you wanted to climb Mount Everest, one of the first steps in that process is to hire a guide, known in that region as a Sherpa. A Sherpa makes a living from helping others and using knowledge from previous climbs to assist on the journey. You know, we all have Sherpas in our lives, our parents, friends, teachers, or mentors. Don't be afraid to call on the experience of someone who has been on the journey before. Number 3, don't assume you're done when you get to the top. Oftentimes the most difficult part is coming back down. If you've ever been to the top of a mountain, it's glorious to soak in, but at some point the reality hits you. You got to get back down. Many times climbers are hurt on the journey back down because they don't take their time or pay close enough attention to detail, or they're just too exhausted from the journey. The journey from the top is just as important as the climb. Number 2, pack your own toilet paper. This is good advice. I'm not going to talk about how it applies in real life. I'll leave that to your imagination. Just do it. Bring toilet paper. You might need it. And then number 1, enjoy the views along the journey, not just the ones at the top. You know, all the major mountains in Colorado have some sort of marker at the summit. Some have guest books to sign or a place to take a photograph to document your journey. But the funny part is oftentimes the summit is bare and not very beautiful. Most of the beauty happens when you climb a mountain, when you see the meadows filled with wildflowers, when you see the alpine lake or the beaver lodge just off of the path. Don't assume all the beauty is in the summit, but experience it along the journey. Class of 2015, you're an amazing group. We're very, very proud of you. We believe that we've given you tools and experience to help you climb the mountain. Remember your training, for you, my friend, are a mountaineer. Thank you.
Nathan, thank you very much. And now we have a little surprise. Please welcome Mr. Glenn Strebe, CEO of Air Academy Federal Credit Union, representing the Academy District 20 Education Foundation. Each year, the Academy District 20 Education Foundation recognizes one or more of our students in a very special way. The Academy District 20 Education Foundation has been a steadfast supporter of alternative education in District 20. Mr. Strebe has consistently demonstrated a true interest in Aspen Valley. He's been a visitor in the building, and I'm very happy to bring him to the stage because part of the fun of this moment is that the students being recognized have absolutely no warning. So without further ado, Mr. Strebe. Keep leaving this up here. Just in case.
Besides handing out diplomas, sometimes the most popular person in the room is the one that's giving out money. It is always a joy to join the Aspen Valley, and I've been saying this for a few days now, America Online graduates Academy Online. I'm probably one of the few 3 or 4 people in the world that still has an America Online account, believe it or not. I don't know why, but my wife says, no, we're not going to change that. As a board member of the Academy District 20 Education Foundation, it's always fantastic to be able to not only grant scholarships, but also give grants and just be able to celebrate the accomplishments of high schools in Academy District 20. Our foundation is, it's an all-volunteer board, and our primary method of fundraising is a golf tournament that we sponsor every year that is very, very well supported, as well as we get some contributions from folks here and there. There's a variety of things. To the graduates out there, I'm going to go ahead and make a pitch. Well, parents also and friends. If you ever come up with the next Google or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or something like that, we would be happy and we would do a great job being stewards of your billion-dollar contribution. We would be happy to take that contribution and put it to really, really good use going forward, because it's only about Academy District 20. So just remember that. You heard it here first. We'll take your $1 billion. This scholarship, in conjunction with Coca-Cola, looks for kids that, or looks, I don't want to say kids anymore, young adults, that meet the following criteria. The student must have demonstrated outstanding leadership. Student must have been in the top 1/3 of their class, and the student must have participated significantly in community service. Student must have demonstrated exemplary qualities of character and integrity, and the scholarship must be used for post-secondary education at an accredited institution. Now, I have a little bit of commentary here, and I'm going to bounce all over the place because I'm trying to save the name since this is a surprise. Our first winner is described as a unique, confident, hardworking, creative, well-balanced, a good friend, honest, and very genuine. She's artistic, so that narrows it down. She's artistic in so many ways and has just absolutely done incredible things with her friends. If I said the next couple of things, I'll give away. She's not sure exactly about her ultimate career because she has so many interests. She might become a chef. She might become an artist. She plans to continue taking courses at Pikes Peak Community College or UCCS. Our first $1,000 scholarship winner is a toddler driving a monster truck. Daphne Sherman, please come up. When she spoke about a toddler in a monster truck, I had these visions. I said, I just have to say that. Our second winner, and we're very delighted as a foundation to be able to provide two, she's described as a delightful, intelligent, warm, and genuine young woman. Often considered an old soul, she's known for a thoughtful insight and persistence in bettering herself. She demonstrates a passion and enthusiasm for bettering the lives of those around her, and she always adds a positive dose of energy and enthusiasm in whatever circumstances she's in. Her plans include a start to her career in counseling and therapy with enrollment at Pikes Peak Community College, and then following graduation with her associate's degree, she plans to attend a four-year university or a four-year college and pursue the degrees and credentials necessary to work in the field of psychology and therapy. Her life experiences, as so many of us, some challenging and difficult, have been all beautifully handled. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate Gabrielle Fund with the next scholarship. I was told I also need to provide Kleenex to her. Here you go.
Oh, thanks.
On behalf of the Academy District 20 Education Foundation, congratulations to all the graduates. I wish you Godspeed in your endeavors.
One, two, three, four.
Now, Mr. Borland, it is with the greatest of pride that we present to you the members of the class of 2015. We hereby certify that these young men and women have met the requirements for graduation
from Aspen Valley High School,
Academy Online High School,
and Academy School District 20, and are recommended for their diplomas.
On behalf of the Board of Education of Academy School District 20, I accept with pride and pleasure the 2015 graduating class of Aspen Valley High School and Academy Online High School. Mr. Stone and Mr. Gorsh, thank you, your faculty and your staff, for an outstanding job. Congratulations.
Staff members, please prepare to greet our seniors as they receive their diplomas. Leah, take them up.
I'm pleased to be able to read the thank yous that the seniors have written for their graduation. And we will begin with Leah Marie Ashley. Leah says, I've done so much to graduate this year, and it's been a strange but interesting experience. I'd like to thank my family for encouraging my dreams and my partner, Josh. I know that whatever happens in the future, no matter the odds, you can achieve anything. Michaela Shella Bell. Pardon me, Michaela Shella Bell. Michaela says, I would like to thank all of my friends and family for supporting me throughout my high school life, especially my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my sister, and my grandma and grandpa. I would also like to thank my boyfriend Colton, who has been there for me since freshman year. Wyatt Daniel Bondi. Wyatt says, I would like to thank all of my good friends, Dimitri, Eli, Jonah, and my wonderful girlfriend, Devon. I would also like to thank Mr. Fisher, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Hamblin, Mrs. Mang, and Mrs. Stevenson for helping me and tolerating me through my tough times. Toria Mae Burns. And Toria says, I would like to thank all Aspen Valley High School staff for their knowledge, care, and helping hands throughout the years. My family for their persistence, encouragement, and love, and my friends for their laughs, smiles, and good memories. Pia Sarah Michelle Charles. Pia says, I would like to give a huge thanks to my dad for pushing me to become the headstrong woman I am today, my mom for being my support system and giving me the motivation to be successful, my sister for always being there for me, and last but not least, my best friends, Kiara, Sadie, my ride or dies. Summer Lee Dickerson. Summer says, I would like to thank my parents and family for sticking with me and believing in me. I would also like to thank Mr. Stone for giving me the opportunity to come to Aspen Valley High School. Hannah Timmy Edwards. Hannah says, I would like to thank my parents for showing me Aspen Valley. I'd also like to thank Michaela, Loomis, Tater, Aaliyah, Haley, and Kayla for keeping me sane this year. Thanks, Mrs. Daniel and Mr. Bailey, and Mr. Fisher for being amazing people. Kimberly Elizabeth Garber. Kimberly says, I would like to thank my parents, my friends, all my teachers and counselors for never giving up on me and helping me with everything. Evan Graham Hibner. As usual, Evan has a lot to say. Evan Graham Hibner says, I'd like to thank my mother for pushing me to focus and complete my work. I'd like to thank my dad for teaching me the importance of taking pride in my work. I'd like to thank my brother who taught me how to succeed socially and academically. I'd like to thank my sister whose smile and goofy attitude brought me happiness every day. I'd like to thank my grandparents for their ongoing support and wisdom, and I'd like to thank my friends who always had my back. I'd like to thank my teachers for their support and wisdom. Christopher Philip LaHurandel. Chris says, I would like to thank Mr. Stone for sticking by my side. I would also like to thank Mrs. Mailer for helping me get things done and helping me with college. Also, thanks to all of my teachers who took the time to help me and for being good people. I will never forget any of you. David Lauren Michael Levitt, Jr. And David says, I would like to thank my parents, family, and friends, and teachers for the amount of support throughout my high school years. Without you, I wouldn't be here where I am now. Thank you very much. John Michael McCaffrey. John says, at home I'd like to thank my father Joseph, my mother Lynn, and my brother Evan. At school, in particular, I'd like to thank my strictest and most influential teachers, Mr. Lown, Dr. Palmer, Mr. Fisher, and Mr. Stone. Jordan Ann Martinez. Jordan says, I want to thank my mom and my dad for pushing me every day to strive for success, for dealing with the frustrating times and never giving up on me, and for having faith in me to be a successful student. I would also like to thank my brother, Brandon, for supporting me and helping me look for a more creative, open life. I also want to thank my spouse, Taylor, for pushing me from a distance to finish and never give up. I want to thank all who supported me. Ryan Nicholas Pablo. Ryan says, thank you to my teachers for all your support, to Mrs. Bejarano for every ounce of fun you've put into my life, for Mr. Pittman for all your jokes and comments, to my parents for their support, to my dad for getting me to do my online class, to my mom for making me do my job shadows packets, to my sisters for all of the rides, and to my friends for all their fun and support. Aiden Nicholas Palmer. And Aiden says, I have a lot of things to be thankful for. My grandmother for being the best role model I could possibly have. Let me start again. I have a lot of things to be thankful for. My grandmother for being the best role model I could possibly ask for. My mother for always being there for me. My siblings who always put a smile on my face. And for my wonderful friends and teachers who pushed me to graduate. And he ends with, thank you, God. Richard Tommy Pearson. Ricky says, thank you, Mr. Hamblin, for reading this and for, and for teaching me about financial planning as well as asking about all my concerts. Thank you, Mr. Pittman, for helping me with everything, especially for filling my papers with red ink due to all the needed corrections. Thank you, Mrs. Knott, for being so nice and for helping me with my cactuses. Or cacti? Thank you, Mrs. McCormick, for making me redo my half-assed papers. You helped me become a better writer. Ms. Daniel, you have dealt with my nonsense for 3 years. Thank you for sticking with me and helping me through. Thank you, Mr. Stone, for not kicking me out, and for the 100 breakfast clubs. Those were fun, he says. Last but not least, I would like to thank my mother and my grandparents for not giving up and always helping. And finally, I would like to thank all the cats in the world. Gabrielle Isabel Fund. Gabby says, I'd like to thank my mother and father for never doubting me. You two believed in me enough so that I started to believe in myself. Your love, compassion, and understanding will always mean the world. A special thanks to Mrs. Stevenson and Mrs. Daniel for making me feel fabulous in everything I do. And of course, thanks to my dearest Daphne. You're all that in a bag of chips. Daphne Margaret Schurman. Daphne says, I'd like to thank my parents, first of all, for creating me and helping me become the person I am. Also, I'd like to thank my dear friend Taryn for taking the time to see me graduate and helping me learn to become an adult. I'd also like to thank my boyfriend Christian for teaching me how to become a more loving, compassionate person. I'd like to thank Sorsha for giving me my sense of humor, and thank you, Gabby, for teaching me to be a good friend. Finally, thank you to all of my teachers for teaching me how to read and write. Jonah David Sirio. Jonah says, how thankful I am to be walking today. I'm mainly thankful for the support I had from my friends and family and all my teachers. This moment will always be a special one. Thanks for sharing it with me. My biggest thanks goes to sweet baby Jesus. Dimitri LaRon Thompson. Dimitri says, I would like to thank my parents, family, and Mr. Bailey for guiding and pushing me to graduate. I would also like to thank my friend Wyatt for supporting me and helping me. Thanks to all for this journey through high school. Joshua Michael Tremblay. Josh says, I would like to thank my friends, family, and my teachers for always encouraging me and picking me up when I was down and out. I wouldn't have made it this far without all of you. And Jacob Henry Wormsbacher. And Jacob says, I would like to thank my mom for supporting me throughout it all, my friends for sticking with me no matter what, and Mrs. Wasserman for putting up with all my troublemaking, and everyone else who made me who I am today. You people are awesome.
For Academy Online High School, Kennedy Bree Eaton. Kennedy shares, I am forever grateful to Mama for her endless love and support, to Cameron and Cody for being there through thick and thin, to Daddy and Don for guarding my heart, to Laura Lee for helping me be the best version of myself, both in and out of the saddle, to Paul, Hagan, and every other equine partner for teaching me the most valuable life lessons, and most importantly, to my amazing God for blessing my undeserving heart with the most beautiful life imaginable.
Sarah Grace Hewitt. Sarah says, I want to say thanks to my dad, who helped on every single math, history, science assignment since kindergarten, and stayed up with me until I understood every subject. My mom, who taught me to do things fully and completely, my sister, who pushed me to be creative, and my brothers, who kept me sane and taught me how to be awesome. My parents and my siblings are the ones who made sure I got here, and I can't thank them enough.
Brandon Todd Lucas. Brandon says, I want to thank my teachers that have helped me through my school years. I also want to thank my friends and family that have been there for me throughout the years. I want to thank my dad for helping me with all my school projects. And lastly, I want to thank my mom for putting up with me.
Megan K. Sheasley. Megan says, Mom, thank you for teaching me to do my best for 18 years, and thank you for picking me up when my best wasn't enough. Thank you for homeschooling me for 14 years, and above all, thank you for pushing me to finish my math homework. I love you, Mom. Thank you.
Hannah Caroline Stackhouse. Hannah says, life always throws us challenges, even when we are already knocked down. There were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to make it this far, yet here I stand. I am graduating from high school, thriving in college, and posed to make a difference in the world. Mom, Dad, I want to thank you for never giving up on me trial after trial. I never could have made it this far without your unfailing love and support.
Christina Estrada Turley. Christina says, I want to thank my father, my mother, my sister, grandparents, the Hamptons, and the Sims. Thank you all for supporting me through life and helping me follow my dreams. Also, I want to thank Mrs. Hinson and Ms. Spradling. Thank you for all the support you have given me as I finished my journey through high school.
Lorraine Ruth Yinger. Lorraine says, I would like to thank my parents and my younger sister for supporting me throughout high school. Without their support, I would not have made it this far. I would also like to thank my grandmother for her support and her contributions toward my education. Finally, I would like to thank the wonderful teachers of Academy Online High School who taught me many different skills that will benefit me throughout my life. All these people made it possible for me to graduate, and I will always be grateful for their help.
Class of 2015, hold on.
No pressure, Lorraine.
Class of 2015, please stand.
Please move your tassel from the left side and place it on the right.
Seniors may pick up their diplomas from Mrs. Fletcher at Aspen Valley, beginning at 1 o'clock. Please, thank you to the Board of Education, Mrs. Van Mater and Dr. Hatchell.
We would also like to send a special thanks to Daphne Schuerman and Mrs. Wasserman for the slideshow, and to Mr. Hamblin and Mrs. Toddenhagen for the wonderful senior pictures used in the presentation.
Will all the underclassmen please return to the buses to head to school?
Thank you all. That concludes our ceremony.